Gabe, a 1-0 win today. Was it a bit nervy at times?
It was, yeah. It's one of them sort of hard-fought ones. It's always the case when you are against a team that you're not really too familiar with, different region, and so you've got to essentially come into it, feel out the first 10 minutes, and sort of assess what you need to do in the game. I thought the first half we weren't necessarily at the standard that we want. We got the goal, and suddenly I think from that we had that belief that, okay, we can settle here, we can start to control this game, we can start to play the way we want to play. Second half, I thought Yeovil came out and, they knew that they had a job on their hands now, so they pressed us a little bit more. But it was one of those things we were saying on the bench, that final 10 minutes of the game is probably when we controlled it the most, created the most. Maybe that's because it was starting to open up a little bit when Yeovil were pushing for something, so that we had a bit more time. But where it could get a bit squeaky bum in these FA Cup ties, I thought final 10 minutes or so, it was a bit calmer actually. It was a bit tranquillo, just see it out, do what we needed to do. And in the end, 1-0's enough, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Of course, 1-0 is enough. I mean, when you compare it to last week, sort of like attacking threat that we had against Fleet to this week, do you think we could have done a bit more in like the final third today? Because we carved out opportunities, but everything just seemed to keep going to their keeper.
Yeah, I do think so. I think it's worth a real mention that the Yeovil keeper was superb today. There were two specific saves that she made second half. One, a really good fingertip save onto the crossbar. And then secondly, a nice through ball played through to Sean. And she comes out big, gets a touch on it, just trickles past the post. Might have even taken a little nick off the post as well. Couldn't quite see from our angle. But those were two big moments where, especially in the final half hour or so, you think if that goes 2-0 and that goes 3-0, who knows what happens. So real credit to her. But yeah, as well, I mean, there were times when we work on those, getting into areas in the penalty area that we'd like to take shots from, and we perhaps weren't getting enough numbers in there. So took the goal well, created some other chances. Keeper was big, but yeah, maybe we can create some more in the future.
You say they're a well-taken goal. I mean, it came from Shane. She doesn't score many, and it came from a period where, like, perhaps Annie and Shane both have been quite quiet in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it was a case of, because so much had been played down the left-hand side and we were having a real attacking threat there, perhaps the right side was neglected. But then maybe also counterpoint to that, when it did go out that way and we suddenly had time and space, that was an opportunity for us to finish those chances. So maybe throughout the game, if we could switch between those two sides of the pitch a little bit more, we might have had a bit more success. But ultimately, when that one chance came in the first half, it was a nice little through ball to Annie, just putting it beyond the fullback. Shane could take her touch when have the space that she needed and fire it in.
And of course, down the other end, it's something that we don't see very often, a clean sheet. And to be fair, the defence in Laura Vokes and Lydia Moulding and the whole back line seemed to do very well today against quite a quick front line.
Yeah, I think, again, not knowing much about the team from different regions, so when you assess it and you look at it, you think, okay, they've got some quick players. Maybe first 20 minutes or so, you start thinking, how do we counter those quick players? But then when you settle into it and you realise, actually, we're having some good control here, we're seeing out their threat, keeper's not had to make a save yet. As that starts to go on, that starts to build, you sort of sit there and think, okay, do you know what? Maybe we're good here. Maybe we're quite calm. They did play a mid-block for quite a lot of it, so actually it gave our defenders a bit more time on the ball as well. I think that raises confidence. They feel like they're in the game. And, I think we, especially first half, we didn't necessarily rise to the bait of pulling the defence further up, moving with the ball to create that space in behind. We still played our way. We still played it around the back. We played through when we could, and just limited their opportunities. And yeah, I'm not sure Ellie had a save to make. There was a couple of moments where defence came up big. There was a big tackle by McGilly in the second half here. just on the first real chance, they looked like they had a breakaway with those quick players. It was a good recovering tackle. I thought actually the referee let a lot go today. There was probably some down the other end as well that were just like, okay, these are good moments. But you let the game flow like that, suddenly players feel like they're into it, and maybe that helped us in contributing to that clean sheet.
And of course, into the first round for the second time. Do you feel like the club's now getting a bit of a standing footing with what they're doing in the FA Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really nice to have some of the sort of youth players down here today and youth coaches as well, and that helps. The more you get through these FA Cup ties, especially just throughout the club, that is fantastic. But then also just in the local area, we have more people coming to watch us now. We've got more people documenting the games, which is great. We've had pieces in the local press recently about FA Cup results, and I think the way that the competition's going, the more times we can get into the first round proper, that's only going to benefit us. And I think I said last year that every year we're making new history. And so when we reached the first round proper for the first time last season, now it's a case of, okay, great, this is what kind of we expect. Can we then get into the second round proper for the first time? And they're the sort of marginal gains season on season that you really want to see. So, we're at that point now where we're in the hat. We've got to see what the draw is and, take a new adventure.